Hey, everybody. Welcome to Moment of Clarity. Hope you're all doing well out there. Today, Steven Donziger reported to prison. The human rights lawyer who has been fighting this for years. He's been on house arrest for years in his New York apartment. I've had him on Moment of Clarity. I've also had him on Redacted tonight to discuss this. As most of you know, he's a human rights lawyer who won the largest ever case against a big oil company due to their egregious, fucking disgusting, fucking murderous behavior in Ecuador, killing the indigenous, killing the wildlife, destroying the Amazon, leaving fucking pits of black tar that are still there today, not cleaning it up. And they were awarded, or the people, the indigenous Ecuador and Ecuadorian people were awarded $9.5 billion with a B dollars from Chevron. Chevron said, I've got an idea. We'll just leave the country and not pay it, which is what they did. They left Ecuador. They didn't pay it. And they decided to go after Donziger, go after the lawyer who won the case against them in order to try and crush his life and set an example. That's a theme we're seeing with both Assange and Donziger. It is about setting an example. They don't actually care about one person that much, our ruling elite, which includes both the people who run these oil companies, these corporate titans that run big oil, who basically own our government. They are part of the ruling elite in that way. And our active government, the Biden administration, the CIA, who are actual players in the Assange situation. The FBI also players in what's going on with Assange. Anyway, they are setting an example with both these people. One is a human rights lawyer, one is a journalist. Today, Donziger reported to prison, being just fucking railroaded in a hilarious kangaroo court. I don't need to give all the details because I've done it so much. And I think for those of you who've been following the story, you might get a little bored if I went through the play-by-play of what went on in the Donziger trial. But just clown judges that are hilariously corrupt. So he's been on house arrest for 2 years. They then, Judge Preska, sentenced him to 6 months in prison behind bars for being a lawyer who won a case. I mean, even if he was a lawyer who won a shitty case, like even if he had gotten, let's say there was a serial murderer and he was one of these lawyers who represents serial murderers and he got him off. He got the guy, found not guilty. That's a pretty shitty thing for a lawyer to do. But still, the lawyer shouldn't be locked up for winning a case. He's doing what the system is supposed to do, which is even a serial murderer is supposed to have a lawyer. But so that'd be if it was a shitty lawyer. This is one of the best lawyers. This is a lawyer who actually decided to take his little law degree and do something fucking positive with it. Instead, most lawyers take their little law degree and then they run around and fuck everyone's lives. And they represent the biggest corporations in the world, the richest people in the world who can afford lawyers 24/7. You know, that when they aren't using them in court, they just have them fucking stand around their house and dust things. They're like, I don't care. Yeah, I'll keep paying you $1,000 an hour. What's it fucking matter? It's meaningless to me. Anyway, that's who can usually afford lawyers, and the lawyers usually head that direction, right? Because that's where all the money is. Why would you not want all the money? Awesome. But Donziger didn't do that. Donziger represented the people. He represented the indigenous people, and he defeated Chevron. Anyway, he's now in prison as of today. And you will hardly get any coverage of this from the mainstream media. Donziger has not even been talked about in the New York Times, which is his home city newspaper. They can't bring themselves to cover Donziger. There are some outlets like Esquire that have done some mainstream outlets like Esquire that have done some deeper reporting on Donziger, but most mainstream outlets unwilling to touch it with a 10-foot pole because they don't want to go up against big oil because big oil funds their fucking channels. So that's what happened with Donziger today. That same day, we see the beginning of Assange's extradition hearing, his second extradition hearing, his billionth court appearance. The first extradition hearing, you may recall that Assange was found unfit for extradition. Now, this was kind of a backup system for the UK to both not extradite Assange and kind of cover their own ass because it's a horrible precedent to set. Extraditing a fucking journalist, a publisher, to a country he's never fucking been to. Like, Assange never operated from America. He's not American. He's never been a U.S. citizen. WikiLeaks has never been based in the United States. None of it. And yet they're going to extradite him to the United States. That's called kidnapping. That's what that's called. It's not called extradition. Anyway, it was kind of a backstop for a corrupt UK government and court system to not have to extradite him. So the first judge did not found that they would not be extraditing him, but she agreed with everything that the CIA and the FBI and all their other fucking goons, all the U.S. prosecution, she agreed with it all. There was not a single thing she disagreed with, even though we now know that the main witness, the star witness against Assange, Siggy Thorgerson, or however you pronounce his name, he's admitted that he made it all up. He's admitted that he's a liar. And he's also a diagnosed sociopath and a convicted child molester. That's who the FBI and the U.S. government found to indict Assange, to actually go up on the stand and say, yeah, he did it. He hacked the fucking Icelandic government, I think is mainly what that guy testified to. And he made it all up. So despite all of that, the judge in the first extradition hearing found that Assange was guilty on every regard, but they wouldn't extradite him because of the unique cruelty of the United States prison system. So instead, they did not extradite him, and now we see the appeal of that process. The Biden administration could stop all of this instantaneously. All they'd have to do is drop the appeal. Instantaneously, it'd all be over. All Biden would have to do is get up there and go, we're not going to appeal. Done. Over. He wouldn't even have to admit that Assange is a fucking hero instead of a traitor. All he'd have to do is say, not appealing. End. Over. It's done. Instead, our Justice Department is going forward with this ridiculous appeal, and they're now in a court with judges UK court with judges that are probably more favorable to sending Assange overseas to the United States, where he will not receive a legitimate trial at all. We've heard about the court system here in D.C. I think it's in Arlington, Virginia, actually, where he will get his trial. It'll be very similar to John Kiriakou and other whistleblowers, where they're not allowed to present any evidence that they aren't guilty. All the evidence that they want to present is thrown out. All of their arguments that they revealed this information because it's important, because it's for the public good, all of that would be thrown out. You can't argue any of that. So basically, he would not be allowed to present a defense in any way. And he ultimately could end up in a supermax prison where it's equivalent to torture. I mean, people are put in solitary confinement for fucking 23 hours a day. They can't meet their family. They can't see their lawyer hardly. It's like once a month for like a half an hour or something. Can they even see their lawyer? They can't get email. They can't nowadays even they're now starting this new system where you don't even get to hold the mail that you got from your family. Instead, they show it up on a screen. They scan it, show it on a screen for 5 minutes, and then delete it so that you don't even get your family's letters to you. I mean, it is, honestly, it's like on the level of the rack or some old medieval shit. The difference was with the rack and with the drawn and quartered and with the filleting and all that shit, at least it was over in a day or two. You know, even for the ones they wanted to drag out where they fucking nailed you up on a post or something, even those ended in a couple of days. Instead, this is an elongated torture of years. That's what Julian Assange would face if he came over here. So it's totally egregious, but please try and follow this story. We don't know what's going to happen with this extradition. It could take months, this process, or it could be over quickly, Stella Morris has said. But yeah, keep up with that story. Keep paying attention and keep supporting Assange. Some of the best places to follow are Consortium News. They have a website and on Twitter. Stella Morris. And then there's other outfits like Justice for Assange and stuff. Chris Hedges also following it. Kevin Gastola usually does good work on it. So that's a few. But yeah, I definitely keep up with Consortium News and Stella Morris, and we'll, hope they fucking don't extradite him. But I talked to Chris Hedges today, and when he said when the Empire has their mind set on something, it's unlikely that it doesn't happen. So we're in a pretty fucking Scary time. All right, guys, that has been Moment of Clarity. If you want to support this and my other podcasts and everything, that's at liberapay.com/Lee Camp. If you donated on the super chat, all those donations go to people who are struggling. And if that is you, you can email commoncensored with a D at the end, commoncensored at protonmail.com. We try and get a little solidarity fund money to everybody who emails. It's not tons of money. It's a little bit. So if that would help you, then email commoncensored at protonmail.com. And check out radindymedia.com, where we have basically all the best news. I don't mean necessarily good news, but I mean accurate news from all over the web. Gray Zone, Mint Press, Jimmy Dore, My Stuff, Art Killing Apathy, Common Dreams, Counterpunch, Sheer Post, Breakthrough News. All of that's at radindymedia.com. You can check it every day. You can just make it your morning newspaper, and it doesn't assault you with ads. There's no ads. There's no anything. It's just the truth, just the facts. Please tell people about it. Share it. Let them know. And also, I had also another web exclusive over at portable.tv. I did one over there. If you scroll down to the Redacted Tonight playlist, you'll find my stuff there. And keep fighting.